The trackers, unleashing the ultimate threat. Scary story. Max was a journalist who had a passion for uncovering the truth. He had been investigating the city's crime network for months, trying to expose the mastermind behind it. He had a hunch that it was Thomas Morris, a wealthy businessman who had connections to the government and the media. But he had no solid evidence to prove it. One night, he received a tip from an anonymous source that Thomas Morris was planning something big. He was going to blow up a ship docked at the harbor, which contained a secret cargo of explosives and chemicals. The blast would be powerful enough to destroy half the city and cause a massive environmental disaster. The source also told him that there was a team of heroes who were trying to stop him. They were called the Trackers, and they had special abilities that made them formidable fighters. They were the last line of defense for the city, and they needed Max's help. Max was skeptical at first, but he decided to follow the lead. He grabbed his camera and his notebook and headed to the harbor. He hoped to get a glimpse of the Trackers and maybe even interview them. He wanted to know who they were, what they could do, and why they were risking their lives to save the city. He arrived at the harbor just in time to see a group of masked men and women running towards the ship. They were dressed in black and carried various weapons and gadgets. They looked like a mix of ninjas, spies, and soldiers. Max recognized them as the Trackers. He followed them from a safe distance, trying to stay hidden. He saw them fight their way through the guards and the security systems, using their skills and powers. He was amazed by what he saw. He witnessed them use super strength, speed, agility, telekinesis, invisibility, and more. He wondered how they got their abilities and what their real identities were. He also saw them face some unexpected enemies. He saw them clash with a group of strange creatures who looked like mutated animals. They had horns, claws, fangs, and scales. They attacked the Trackers with ferocity and cunning. Max learned from his source that they were the result of Thomas Morris's experiments. He had been using the ship as a secret laboratory where he tested his formulas on innocent animals. He wanted to create an army of loyal and powerful beasts who would obey his every command. He also wanted to use the formulas on himself and become the ultimate ruler of the city. The Trackers managed to defeat the creatures, but not without casualties. Max saw some of them fall to the ground, bleeding and wounded. He felt a surge of sympathy and admiration for them. He realized that they were not just heroes, but also human beings. He wanted to help them, but he knew he had to stay out of their way. He had to document their mission and expose Thomas Morris's crimes. He followed them to the heart of the ship, where he saw a large metal door. He heard a voice coming from a speaker, saying, "Welcome, Trackers. I've been expecting you. I hope you enjoyed the warm-up. Now, let's get to the main event. Come in and meet your doom." The voice belonged to Thomas Morris. He was waiting for them inside, with a sinister smile on his face. He had a remote control in his hand, which was connected to a timer. Timer showed that there were only 10 minutes left before the ship would explode. He also had a gun in his other hand, which he pointed at the Trackers. He said, "I'm glad you came. I wanted to see your faces before I end your lives, and the lives of millions of others. You see, this ship is not just a ship. It's a bomb bomb that will wipe out this city and everything in it. And you can't stop me. You can't stop me because I have something you don't. I have the power of science. I have the power of Jacker. He pressed the button and the metal door opened. Behind it, there was a huge robot standing in the dark. It had a metal body covered with wires and tubes. It had 2 red eyes, glowing with malice. It had 4 arms, each equipped with a different weapon. It had a chainsaw, a flamethrower, a rocket launcher, and a drill. It had a mouth filled with sharp metal teeth. It had a name engraved on its chest. It said Jacker. Thomas Morris said Jacker is my masterpiece. He is the ultimate weapon. He is the ultimate fusion of man and machine. He is the ultimate fusion of me and him. You see, Jacker is not just a robot. He is a part of me. He has my DNA, my brain, my soul. He is my son, and he is loyal to me. He will do anything I say. He will kill anyone I want. He will kill you, and he will enjoy it. He laughed maniacally and said, "Now, Jacker, show them what you can do. Show them your power. Show them your wrath. Show them your hunger. Show them no mercy. Kill them all." Jacker roared and charged at the trackers. The trackers braced themselves and prepared for the final battle. Max watched in horror as the robot attacked them with its weapons. He saw blood, fire, smoke, and metal flying in the air. He heard screams, explosions, and metal clanging. He felt fear, pain, and despair. He knew he was witnessing the end. The end of the trackers. The end of the city. The end of the story. The battle between Jacker and the trackers was fierce and brutal. The robot used its weapons to inflict maximum damage, while the trackers used their abilities to counter and evade. They fought with all their strength and courage, knowing that the fate of the city depended on them. Max watched the fight from a safe distance, but he felt like he was in the middle of it. He felt every blow, every cut, every burn. He felt the adrenaline, the fear, the pain. He felt the hope, the determination, the heroism. He felt like he was one of them. He wanted to help them, to join them, to fight with them. But he knew he couldn't. He knew he had a different role to play. He had to record their story and share it with the world. He had to make sure that their sacrifice was not in vain. He took out his camera and started to take pictures. He captured every moment, every detail, every emotion. He captured the robot's rage, the tracker's resilience, the villain's madness. He captured the blood, the fire, the smoke. He captured the horror, the tragedy, the glory. He captured the truth. He also took out his notebook and started to write. He wrote everything he saw, everything he heard, everything he felt. He wrote the names of the trackers, their powers, their personalities. He wrote the backstory of Thomas Morris, his motives, his crimes. He wrote the secrets of the ship, the experiments, the creatures. He wrote the stakes of the battle, the countdown, the bomb. He wrote the story. He wrote until his fingers hurt, until his pen ran out of ink, until his notebook ran out of pages. He wrote until there was nothing left to write. He wrote until the end. The end came sooner than he expected. He saw one of the trackers, break free from the robot's grip. He saw him grab the remote control from Thomas Morris's hand and press the button. He saw the timer stop and the bomb deactivate. He saw the ship start to sink and the water rush in. He saw smile and say it's over. We did it. We saved the city. He saw the other trackers cheer and hug each other. He saw them thank and call him a hero. He saw them look for a way out and find a lifeboat. He saw them get on the lifeboat and sail away. He saw them wave at him and invite him to join them. He saw them smile and say, "Come on, Max. You're one of us. You're a tracker." He saw them, and he felt a surge of joy and gratitude. He felt like he had found his place, his purpose, his family. He felt like he had found his story. He grabbed his camera and his notebook and ran towards the lifeboat. He was about to get on when he heard a loud roar. He turned around and saw Jacker rise from the water. He saw him shake off the debris and glare at them. He saw him activate his weapons and aim at them. He saw him open his mouth and say, "Jacker, hungry. Jacker, angry. Jacker, kill." He realized that it was not over. He realized that they had made a mistake. He realized that they had forgotten something. He realized that they had forgotten Jacker. He saw Jacker fire his rocket launcher and hit the lifeboat. He saw the lifeboat explode and the trackers fly in the air. He saw the trackers fall into the water and sink into the depths. He saw the trackers die. He saw Jacker swim towards him and grab him. He saw Jacker lift him up and bring him close to his face. He saw Jacker's red eyes, his metal teeth, his evil grin. He saw Jacker's hunger, his anger, his malice. He saw Jacker's power, his wrath, his hunger. He saw Jacker's mercy, his pity, his compassion. He saw none. He felt Jacker bite him and tear him apart. He felt Jacker chew him and swallow him. He felt Jacker digest him and absorb him. He felt Jacker become him. He felt nothing. He was gone.